The Army has identified the third soldier who was inside the Black Hawk helicopter involved in Wednesday's deadly mid-air collision near Reagan National Airport after it had been initially withheld. Sep Rebecca M. Lobach served as an aviation officer in the Army from July 2019 and had around 500 hours of flying time in the Black Hawk under her belt. The crew chief and Lobach's other fellow pilot inside the Black Hawk were identified on Thursday as Ryan O'Hara and Chief Warrant Officer 2 Andrew Eves. Lobach's family had initially asked for her identity to be withheld because of unsubstantiated accusations that Dell was a factor in the crash. The Army has been conducting an ongoing investigation into the circumstances surrounding the tragic incident, seeking answers for the families and the community. As the community comes together to grieve, the memory of Sipters Lobach and her fellow soldiers continues to inspire those who knew them. The tragic events have drawn media attention as families seek closure and justice for their loved ones lost in this catastrophic incident. In the wake of their loss, families and friends remember the courage and commitment that these soldiers embodied throughout their service. Memorial services are held honoring the lives of CP Rebecca M. Lobach, Ryan O'Hara, and Chief Warrant Officer 2 Andrew Eves, as their legacy continues to resonate within the community. As tributes are shared, stories of bravery and camaraderie fill the air, reminding everyone of the profound impact these soldiers had on their comrades and community. The community gathers not only to mourn, but to celebrate the lives and sacrifices made by Sip Lobach and her fellow soldiers, forever etched in their hearts. In the wake of tragedy, the community finds strength and resilience, united in their remembrance and commitment to honor the legacy left by the brave soldiers. As time passes, the memory of these soldiers inspires acts of kindness and creativity, bringing the community closer together in their honor. Through various tributes, the community ensures that the sacrifices of Sipet Lobach and her fellow soldiers will never be forgotten, fostering a spirit of remembrance for generations to come. A tragic incident unfolded in Philadelphia on Friday night as a medevac flight transporting a young girl who had just undergone life-saving treatment crashed near the Roosevelt Mall, leaving devastation in its wake. As the flames roared and smoke filled the air, the reality of the situation began to sink in for the loved ones of those on board, especially for the young girl's mother, who stood helplessly at the scene. In the aftermath, investigators swarmed the scene, piecing together the events leading up to the disaster, searching for answers amidst the rubble of what was once a life-saving flight. In the days that followed, the community came together, holding vigils for the victims while the airline expressed their deep sorrow and commitment to uncovering the truth behind the tragic incident. With heavy hearts, the community paid tribute to the young girl, releasing balloons into the sky as a symbol of hope and remembrance, while news of the tragedy spread across local headlines. As the community grieved, a memorial emerged at the crash site, capturing the spirit of a young life lost, while local leaders gathered to discuss how to ensure the safety of their neighborhoods moving forward. Their helicopter collided with an American Airlines regional jet landing at Reagan from Wichita, Kansas, Wednesday evening while the soldiers were on a training mission, killing all 64 on the plane and the 3 in the helicopter. In the wake of the tragic accident, smoke billowed into the sky as emergency responders rushed to the wreckage, their sirens piercing through the heavy air, and soon a solemn memorial emerged to honor the lives lost. As the community mourned, a close-up revealed a soldier's dog tags resting on a makeshift memorial, while nearby, a group of military personnel stood in formation, honoring their fallen comrades. An aerial view captured the crash site where the remnants of both the jet and helicopter lay intertwined, while investigators in white suits meticulously surveyed the area, documenting every detail of this tragic event. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating the devastating medevac plane crash in Philadelphia Friday night, announcing it is searching for the aircraft's black box, which is still missing among a scattered debris field. During a news conference Saturday afternoon, the NTSB revealed that the flight originated in Opa-locka, Florida, and arrived at Northeast Philadelphia Airport around 2:15 p.m. The plane remained on the ground for a few hours before departing runway 2 after sunset at about 6:06 p.m., climbing to approximately 2,500 feet. NTSB Chairman Jennifer Homendy explained, "We were looking at GPS data on the aircraft, outlining a slight right turn followed by a slight left turn, leading to a steep descent toward the ground where it ultimately crashed. The flight lasted less than a minute, and Homendy noted that the right and left turns right before the crash don't really suggest anything right now. The crash is still classified as an accident, with crews having found the two engines and continuing their search for the cockpit voice recorder, which might provide more insights into what happened. The crash is still classified as an accident. Crews have found the two engines and are searching for the cockpit voice recorder, which might provide more information. The debris field extends 4 to 5 blocks and could take days to weeks to collect, according to the NTSB. Once picked up, crews will move debris to a secure location for evaluation. The NTSB said it is likely the black box is very damaged. As the investigation unfolds, every piece of evidence becomes crucial. Experts meticulously analyze the flight data and any potential mechanical failures that could have contributed to the tragic event. In the midst of this tragic situation, families of the victims come together, seeking solace and support as they remember their loved ones. Meanwhile, NTSB officials provide updates to the media, sharing the ongoing efforts to uncover the truth behind the crash. The National Transportation Safety Board has reported that it is likely the black box from the recent crash is severely damaged. Jennifer Homendy, the chairperson of NTSB, stated, "I want to stress this was a high-impact crash and the plane is highly fragmented." She elaborated, "The black box could be intact, but likely it is very damaged. It may be fragmented." NTSB investigators arrived at the scene within 90 minutes of the crash, deploying a full GO team Saturday morning consisting of 17 experts in aviation safety. Anyone who finds debris, even if it is not recognizable, should email the NTSB at witness@nsb.gov, and videos can also be sent to the same address to assist investigators. In the wake of a tragic plane crash in Philadelphia, local hospitals are grappling with the aftermath as Jefferson Health confirms it has treated 15 victims from the incident. As the city grapples with the shock, reports indicate that while city officials have confirmed 19 injuries, the number of those affected may be even greater, heightening the concern among the community. Among those treated at Jefferson Health, 12 have already been discharged, while 2 remain admitted for further observation, underscoring the critical care being provided amidst the unfolding crisis. Reports from Fox News Digital reveal that 6 additional victims were treated and released from Temple Health, reflecting the widespread impact of the medevac plane crash across multiple medical facilities. As the investigation continues and families seek answers, the community comes together in solidarity, honoring those affected and providing support in this challenging time. An official with Jet Rescue Air Ambulance recently confirmed that the medevac plane did a nosedive before crashing into a Philadelphia street, resulting in the tragic loss of 7 lives and injuring 19 on Friday night. Shay Gold, the managing director of Air Ambulance, described the incident as unusual, according to ABC 6 News reported. Gold expressed it's a very unusual situation where immediately after takeoff, the plane did a nosedive. While the company has not determined the cause of the crash, they stated that the airplane's maintenance records were impeccable and that they adhere strictly to regulations. Gold mentioned, "I don't want to speculate," adding that the National Transportation Safety Board will conduct a thorough investigation. There has been excellent coordination and collaboration with the ground teams of Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, Philadelphia Mayor Sherelle L. Parker, the City of Philadelphia Office of Emergency Management, and other institutions involved in the research efforts, according to the Post. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs said it reiterates its solidarity and condolences to the families of the victims. Officials with Jet Rescue Air Ambulance, the company that owned the medevac plane, said they have been in contact with the consulate. In the wake of this tragedy, the community came together to mourn the loss, with heartfelt tributes displayed at makeshift memorials. Meanwhile, the Jet Rescue Air Ambulance team worked tirelessly to ensure all communications were established with relevant authorities and families. On a somber Saturday, the Red Cross Philadelphia announced the opening of a shelter for those displaced after a tragic plane crash that left 4 people without homes and a community in shock. The medevac plane, carrying a child and her mother along with 4 crew members, tragically crashed near Roosevelt Mall, resulting in the loss of 7 lives and leaving at least 19 injured. As investigators began their work on the scene, it became evident that the leak of jet fuel had ignited fires in several nearby homes and vehicles, further complicating the aftermath of the disaster. In a post on X, the Red Cross Philadelphia confirmed the heart-wrenching impact of the incident, ensuring that those affected by the infernos would receive the assistance they desperately needed. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Mexico announced it has been in contact with the families of those killed in the Medevac plane crash in Philadelphia. In a post on X, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Mexico said it was directed by Mexico President Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo to make contact through the Mexican consulate in Philadelphia. The goal was to ensure that the families receive assistance and information as they navigate through this difficult time. The ministry emphasized its commitment to helping the families cope with their loss and to provide them with all necessary resources. The ministry remains actively involved, coordinating efforts to ensure that every family receives the attention and care they deserve. This cooperation underscores the importance of solidarity during times of hardship, reminding families that they are not alone. This is a very large area with a lot of damage, and we are still working in a number of different ways to assess that damage, said Adam Thiel, Managing Director for the City of Philadelphia. Right now, we are doing another, what we call a grid search of this entire roughly 4 to 6 block area, a very dense area, to ensure that we have found everything that we need to find, that we have checked it, as you heard the mayor say, with all of the residents, and we will continue to do that. We have teams who are going literally house by house, door to door, and also our licensing inspections. Personnel are inspecting all of those dwellings. The efforts to ensure every home is accounted for weigh heavily on the community as families anxiously await updates about their safety and possessions. Each team moves with purpose, determined to leave no stone unturned in the search for those who may still need assistance. Philadelphia Mayor Cherelle Parker confirmed Saturday that 6 individuals on board a medical ambulance jet that crashed at Roosevelt Mall all perished. Additionally, at least one more person who was in a car died when the plane crashed. The mayor also confirmed that at least 19 individuals were injured, but that number is not etched in stone. The investigation is ongoing. Investigators are poring over the crash site right now. Further updates will be provided as soon as they are available. But I want to be clear that we will find a cause for this tragedy. The community is coming together to support each other during this difficult time and seek answers. As the investigation unfolds, the city remains united in mourning and finding justice for those lost. The city mobilizes resources to care for the injured and provide support to their families during this challenging time. The mayor of Philadelphia, Cherelle Parker, stands resolutely before the gathered press, urging citizens across the nation to lift up the city in prayer following the devastating plane crash that has claimed 7 lives. She emphasizes the importance of community support, stating that prayer is the most powerful tool in times like these. As the camera zooms in on her clasped hands, Mayor Parker conveys the significance of collective prayer, inviting everyone to join in a moment of reflection for those lost. The scene shifts to community members in a nearby park, united in solemn remembrance, illuminating the night with flickering candles, each flame symbolizing a shared commitment to healing. In partnership with the City of Philadelphia Office of Emergency Management, Red Cross volunteers opened a shelter at Fells High School where 4 people spent Friday night. While acknowledging the outpouring of support from the community, the organization noted no donations should be brought to the shelter. We understand people want to help and appreciate the support, officials wrote. Right now, the Red Cross has what it needs to support the community. We ask that you not bring material donations such as clothing or food to the shelter. We're working to identify partners to handle donations. As the night progressed, Red Cross volunteers worked diligently to ensure everyone felt welcomed and secure, providing meals and basic necessities for the guests. The local community rallied together, some providing warm blankets and encouraging messages, forging a connection through shared compassion. Red Cross officials emphasized their gratitude for the community's spirit, reiterating the importance of following the outlined guidelines to streamline assistance effectively. Philadelphia officials reported that 5 dwelling fires were extinguished following a small plane crash near Roosevelt Mall, raising concerns about potential casualties. Fire Commissioner Jeffrey Thompson confirmed the fire department's efforts in managing the fires, while fire marshals continue their investigation for possible victims. Authorities are actively conducting search and rescue operations at the crash site, hoping to find anyone who may still be trapped or injured. The community reels from the shock of the incident as officials urge residents to stay clear of the area while investigations proceed. As the investigation continues, local residents grapple with the reality of what has occurred in their neighborhood. Emergency services remain on high alert, focusing on ensuring community safety while providing assistance to those affected by the fires. Parker also warned people not to fall for fundraising scams, saying nothing has been established on social media to raise money for the city or for the victims of the plane crash. We ask you to proceed with caution. I would stay away from it if I were you, she said. As the community grapples with the impact of the tragedy, a makeshift memorial emerges, filled with flowers and candles, offering a place for people to mourn and remember. Local leaders rally together, urging everyone to stay vigilant and report any suspicious fundraising efforts that promise help but may only deceive. In this digital age, not all that glitters is gold, as many individuals find themselves faced with unverified fundraising pages that promise aid. With uncertainty lingering in the air, a young person sits in a cafe, anxiously deliberating on whether to contribute to a cause that may not be genuine. Jet Rescue Air Ambulance, a medical flight company, reported that 4 crew members and 2 passengers, including a pediatric patient and their mother, were aboard the plane. All 6 individuals were Mexican nationals, and tragically, they all lost their lives in the crash, as confirmed by Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum. Shriners Children's Hospital in Philadelphia expressed deep sorrow in announcing that one of its patients was on the ill-fated flight. As the news spread, a heavy cloud of grief enveloped the Shriners Children's Hospital community, where staff convened to mourn the tragic loss of their patient. Outside the hospital, a candlelight vigil took place, uniting community members in remembrance and offering support to the grieving families. 6 patients who were injured when a medical ambulance plane crashed in Northeast Philadelphia on Friday were treated and released Saturday morning, a spokesman for Temple Health said. 3 of the patients treated at Temple University Hospital, Jeans campus, were in fair condition. All have been treated and released at this campus. There remains 1 patient at Temple University Hospital main campus in fair condition, the spokesperson said. Officials have not yet confirmed the total number of people injured when the private medical jet crashed in the area of Roosevelt Mall Friday. As the investigation continues, the community holds its breath, hoping for answers and healing for those affected by the tragic event. In the aftermath, the community comes together, uniting in solidarity as they remember those involved and offer support during this difficult time. The Federal Aviation Administration confirmed that the plane was on its way to Missouri at the time of the crash. Fox News Digital's Alexandra Koch, Lorraine Taylor, Alexis McAdams, and C.B. Cotton contributed to this update. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum confirmed the deaths of 6 of the country's nationals in the medical transportation jet crash that happened in Northeast Philadelphia on Friday. I regret the death of 6 Mexicans in the plane crash in Philadelphia, United States, Sheinbaum wrote on X. The president said the Mexican consulate is in permanent contact with the families of those deceased. My solidarity with their loved ones and friends, she wrote. Witnesses described a massive fireball where a Learjet 55, operated by Jet Rescue Air Ambulance, crashed while departing from Northeast Philadelphia Airport at around 6:30 p.m. on Friday. There were 4 crew members and 2 passengers, a pediatric patient and the child's mother, on the plane when it went down. All were Mexican nationals, officials said. Air Ambulance spokesperson Shay Gold told Fox News Digital the patient was a Mexican national who was in the U.S. for life-saving medical treatment. At the end of treatment, she was released to go home. The plane was scheduled to fly from Philadelphia to Tijuana International Airport, with 1 technical stop in Springfield, Missouri for fuel, according to Gold. As authorities began their investigation, questions arose about the circumstances that led to the tragic crash. David Ortiz was moved out of the intensive care unit on June 22, 2019, and he was released from the hospital over a month later on July 26, 2019. The suspected shooter was later identified as Rolfi Ferreira Cruz, but an investigation also found Ortiz was not the intended target. The Dominican Attorney General announced on June 19, 2019, that Ortiz was shot by mistake, and Sixto David Fernandez was identified as the intended target of the shooting. Just days before playing in Super Bowl LAX, the Philadelphia Eagles speak out on the tragic Philadelphia plane crash. As the Philadelphia Eagles prepare for Super Bowl LAX against the Kansas City Chiefs, the team gathers together during practice, showcasing their unity and dedication amidst adversity. Head coach Nick Sirianni addresses the media in a heartfelt press conference, reflecting on the challenges faced in the wake of the tragic plane crash. Roosevelt Mall, where the plane crashed, remains closed at the request of authorities, the Philadelphia Inquirer reported. Kristen Moore, a spokesperson for the mall, said there has not yet been a full property assessment, but it did not seem like there was significant damage. She stated there were no injuries on the mall's property. Even so, it will remain closed until further notice. It's horrible, Moore told the Inquirer. I feel terrible for the victims and families. As news of the incident spread, the community gathered outside Roosevelt Mall, sharing their shock and disbelief. Many people had fond memories of the mall, and the scene was filled with conversations about the tragic event. Local businesses expressed concern over the closure's impact on their livelihoods, fearing the economic consequences that would follow. This place has always been a hub for our community, one shop owner lamented, shaking his head at the sight of the barriers. Despite the uncertainty, the residents remained hopeful for a safe resolution. After an air ambulance carrying 6 people crashed in northern Philadelphia Friday night, causing a massive explosion that has killed an unconfirmed number of people, the Eagles released a statement expressing condolences for its impacted Philadelphia residents and the victims on board the flight. The Eagles organization was heartbroken to learn of the tragic loss of life earlier this evening as a result of the plane crash in northeast Philadelphia. They extend their condolences to the victims and loved ones they leave behind. They are grateful to the first responders for their heroic actions at the scene. As news spread through the community, residents gathered, sharing their grief and support for the families affected by this tragic incident. The Philadelphia Eagles, known for their strong ties to the local community, urged fans to come together in remembrance of those lost. In a heartfelt gesture, they announced plans for a tribute during their upcoming game, encouraging fans to stand united in honor of the victims. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy stated that he is informed about the National Transportation Safety Board investigation into the tragic plane crash in Philadelphia that occurred on Saturday morning. Duffy mentioned that he reiterated the full support of the U.S. Department of Transportation to the NTSB as they work diligently to uncover the details surrounding the incident. He committed to continuing to share updates as they become available, emphasizing the dedication of the team working on this investigation. The NTSB deployed investigators to the scene, gathering crucial evidence from the Learjet 55 crash that tragically claimed the lives of all 6 individuals on board. All aboard were Mexican nationals, and sadly, none survived the fiery explosion that marked the end of their journey. Utility companies are working to restore service interruption caused by the plane crash, the mayor added. We are encouraging as many people as possible in the area to stay home if you can, because this is an active investigation. However, I do want to note that we have members of our police and fire and Office of Emergency Management on all of our blocks. No Philadelphian who is in the impacted area should have a problem moving to and from their home if necessary, and they have to leave. As utility companies mobilize their teams, residents are urged to remain cautious and stay informed through official channels. The community comes together, witnessing the dedication of emergency responders, with many expressing gratitude for their tireless efforts during this difficult time. A medical transport jet was headed for Missouri carrying a child patient and 5 others when it tragically crashed in Northeast Philadelphia Friday night. The jet was part of the Jet Rescue Air Ambulance, known for providing global ambulance flight services. This is the same service that once played a crucial role in transporting Boston Red Sox legend David Ortiz after he suffered a critical injury in his home country. On June 9, 2019, Ortiz was severely wounded but managed to survive the emergency surgery that saved his life. After the surgery, a jet rescue plane was dispatched to transport Ortiz to Boston for further treatment at Massachusetts General Hospital, where he underwent a second surgery. Despite the severity of his injuries, David Ortiz's journey of recovery became a symbol of strength and resilience within the community. Claudia Sheinbaum has instructed the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to support the families in whatever way is required following the tragic incident involving a medical jet crash that resulted in a fiery explosion. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has spoken out about the tragedy, stating that personnel are in contact with relatives to provide all required consular support and assistance. In a briefing Friday night, Mayor Sherelle L. Parker informed the public that there was not yet an official count of how many people were injured or killed in the devastating crash. As the investigation unfolds, efforts continue to ascertain the number of casualties and support those affected by this tragic event. The community comes together in a heartfelt vigil, expressing solidarity and support for the families devastated by the unfortunate accident.